So, as a real estate professional, do you ever feel like you're caught? What I mean by that is, do you feel like you're somewhere between what your client is wanting you to do and what the market conditions are dictating? Therein lies a lot of conflict, right? And oftentimes, taking that extra step to really fully educate the buyer or the seller as to the market conditions can be exhausting because oftentimes you're telling them what they don't want to hear. And I guess I'm going down this rabbit hole a bit because last week we had some attorneys speak to us. They're licensed law attorneys out of Cleveland. They spoke at the Ohio Realtors Convention in September of last year. And one of the very many important points that they made was how to avoid getting yourself into sort of this pitfall, this trap when you're saying one thing and you're texting it to your client. You know, unfortunately, text messages oftentimes are just one-way communication. And when you're getting into this crossroad area and you're talking to clients about market conditions, contract questions, contract issues, inspections, appraisals, all of the things that we deal with as professionals, right? Having the ability to communicate effectively with your client so that they fully understand what's happening in the transaction has never been more important. The division has seen a spike in complaints. Oftentimes the complaints are baseless, but the division still has the duty to investigate the complaints, right? So as I'm kind of unpacking some of those complaints, as I'm looking at those, as I'm hearing the attorneys from Cleveland talk about the importance of communication and effective communication, I wanted to circle back to that because unfortunately sometimes it's very easy to do a rambling text message and we think we're communicating when all we're doing is pushing something at a client that they don't understand. Take the time, give the care, do the extra step. If you have a phone conversation, follow up with an email. The email's saved down to the cloud. You have ability to retain that record and get it back if you need to, because at least in Ohio, we're required to keep those records for 3 years. Oftentimes text messages get lost when phones change or carriers change. Text messaging is problematic. Take that extra step. If you have a conversation, follow up with an email and just make it part of your normal practice. If you can get away from text messages and move to conversations and emails, I think the quality of your communication and the quality of the transaction will increase. Thanks for being here. Make it a great week.